Hello friends, it's dinner time here for us, and I'm gonna make bifanas, and I thought I would show you how I make mine. Every time I make them, my kids love them, everybody else loves them, and they rave about them all the time. And they're very easy and simple to make. So let me show you what I have here. I've had my meat marinating from last night. I buy the pork loin and then I cut it as thin as possible. I would say 1/4 inch if you could. And then what I do, I go with my mallet and I pound it to kind of flatten it out a little bit. And that will tenderize the meat, and at the same time it will flatten so it'll be flat. And then I've been marinated in vinagre, which is garlic, fresh garlic, pimenta, malagueta, the one you buy in the store, and wine and salt. So I've had it marinated. This is just for me and my husband and my son, so I only made a little bit. But usually I buy the pork loin, I cut it, I marinate it like this, and then I divide it and put it in my sealing bags, my vacuum sealing bags, and divided the amount that I need and keep it in a freezer. So if I want to make something and I just pull it out of the freezer the night before, let it thaw out, and here it is. And this is what happened here. So it's been marinated, so it's very flavored. So let's get started how I make this. In here I have my cast iron pan, and it's very hot. You want your pan very hot. No oil, nothing. This is a difference that I see when I make my bifanas and other people make their bifanas. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna sear this meat, and by what I mean is by putting this meat in this cast iron pan, I'm sealing whatever juices are inside. They're gonna stay there, and it's gonna give you tasty and tender bifana. Versus if I put oil and just fried it, I would fry it and take all the water out, and it would be tough. So this way, it makes it a tender, and like I said, you seal those juices. You want this pan very hot, and this is what you want. It's not cooked. Let me show you. It's not cooked. It's just seared. And you put it for a minute. That's all you do, and take it out. And sometimes it might feel like it's sticking to the frying pan. That's fine. Once it gets to that proper sear, it will pull out. It will pull away from the pan. So, and that's all I do. And my mom used to do it that way. This way. This is the only way I've known how to do it until I've seen people make bifanas and they just fry it. The raw meat, they just fry. So you're just frying the meat. And by doing this step, you get a different flavor on the bifana. I don't know how to explain. You just have to try it. And it's, like I said, very easy and very simple. This can be eaten. I'm going to have rice with this, so I'm going to cook all of it, and I'm going to serve with rice and maybe some salad. But if you have, you do this and you have extra the next day, it makes a delicious sandwich. Get a nice popsicle, and it makes a nice sandwich. So we used to do this. My mom used to do this a lot with beef. You can do it also with beef, but I prefer more with the pork. And I use the pork loin because you don't want a lot of fat in this. It doesn't have a lot of fat. So you want a lean meat. Don't need to be the pork tenderloin. It's just a pork loin. I buy them at Costco, those big things, and I just slice it. I put some aside for if I want to roast it and then cut this. If I want the Bifanas, cut it, marinated. And like I said, when I need it, it's already done. It's a process that you gotta do, but in the long run, sometimes it makes it easy because when you take the whole thing, you just let it thaw it out in the refrigerator, it's already marinated. Because this, you need to have it marinated at least overnight, or up to, I would say, 6-7 hours, because that's how those flavors are going to develop. So anyway, so you do this, the whole process, and then and don't throw the juice, the marinade. We're going to use that for our sauce. And you just need to, you know, people might say, oh, you've been marinated. If you let it boil for 4 to 5 minutes, you'll be fine. You will kill any bacteria that's there. So you'll be good. And that's all you do. And then we go back and we fry it. But we used to do this. This is I remember my mom making was when they killed the pigs. And my mom would have the fresh tenderloin from the, a fresh loin from the pig, and she would do this. And oh, this with French fries, delicious. A fried egg. Now, this is how it is tradition in Azores. They have, when you ask for a steak, so now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take if there's any pieces of garlic, or sometimes accumulates juice, you dump it in that bowl, but I'm just going to rinse this just a little bit. You don't want to take all that flavor, but I don't want that. I want to take most of it, the garlic, because I don't want raw garlic, the garlic, burned garlic in my sauce, because it will give you a bitter taste. So my mom used to do this, like I said, during when we killed the pigs, and you would have this and French fries. Oh, she would do a 10-pound bag of potatoes to make French fries. But when you go to Azores and you ask for a steak, most of the steaks is a pork or it could be a beef steak, and they always have an egg on top. Now it's option. You don't have to add the egg on top, but you can ask not to have it, but that's how they serve it. So now I'm going to put some olive oil, just enough to cover my bottom of my pan. You don't need a lot. And we're just going to let that oil kind of get warm, heat up, and then we're going to fry our Bifanas. Okay friends, my oil is hot, and now I'm going to start frying my Bifanas. And we're going to sear that sizzling. And you're not going to fry this for very long. Maybe a minute, 2 minutes max on each side, because they are so thin that you don't need to fry them too long. As soon as they start getting a little color underneath, you can start switching sides. So now see how we accumulate some of that juice. Don't throw that juice away. Put it on your sauce. And I want to show you a hack. This is a hack when I do frying stuff, especially after I've been cleaning my kitchen, and then all of a sudden I remember, I gotta fry dinner. I cover with foil paper my burners. That way it's easy to clean. I don't have to take everything out. Anyway, so now I'm gonna fry these for, like I said, a minute and a half, and don't be alarmed if they feel like they're sticking. That means they're not ready to pull. When they are ready to flip, they will you can easily flip them. If they're sticking, that means they're not ready. And you can flip them around a couple times, and then just fry them. And then I'm gonna do all this, and I'll show you when I come back. Here, friend, I'm on my last batch, and this is what you want. I don't know if you can see it. There's my camera. You want those little brown bits, color. And it's like, it doesn't take very long. You want that. And that makes you a very juicy steak. It's going to be a very tasty bifana. And I think if you fry it right away in the oil, this is what I found out. If you just fry it, you are just frying the meat, so the meat becomes tough. And I think this way, not only because I pounded them, absorbs all the flavor into the meat, but it tenderizes the meat. Another thing is, I know some people put vinegar in their vinaigrette. I did not put vinegar. Vinegar will toughen your meat because it's too much acid, especially if you leave it too long, like I do it overnight to marinate. It's too much acid on your beef, on your meat. So you have to watch out. Now put vinegar if you can, or just put wine. So anyway, so now I pull all these, and these are cooked. And what I do is I make this, and then I'll keep it warm in the oven. They can stay there for a couple hours easy on low, the lowest setting you can get. Put it there. And so now I have some of this oil, and I'm gonna take some of it. And then also, if you see some, when I fry it, I have a pan in here. So I'm pouring into my pan. I'm not pouring down in my sink. When you see little bits of garlic, brown garlic's going, I take the garlic out because if it goes in there, it'll burn. So now you pour that sauce. And if you find that you don't have enough sauce, then just pour some more wine, which is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna put a little bit more wine because I need a little bit more sauce. Whatever wine you have, red wine. I usually have burgundy. I buy the big gallons, but I ran out, so I'm using Pinot Noir. That's what I have. So, and like I said, now you leave this to come to a boil, to a brisk, a fast boil. Let it boil for at least 4 or 5 minutes. You taste it. We're gonna taste it for salt and see if it needs any salt. Would usually, ooh, so delicious. Would usually you don't, I don't because I already marinate them good. And the pepper you buy in the stores, it has salt. So you just let this come to, like I said, a simmer, and then we're gonna pour over my bifanas. I'm gonna put the lid, keep it in the oven warm, and then when we're ready to eat, it's all done. I wouldn't recommend doing this like this and put it in the freezer. You know, I know some people that have done, oh, I've done the whole thing, I put it in the freezer, then I just thawed out and we reheat it. I don't like it that way. I like the raw meat and then you cook it because it will taste fresher this way. So 2 years ago, we went to Azores, me, my husband, my brother-in-law, and his wife. They've never been there. They're Portuguese, but they're raised and born here in the United States. So they wanted steak. Well, you know, we're so used to what? 2-inch steaks? We go there, they don't have 2-inch steaks. but I want a steak. We would look for different restaurants. Every time they would find was a steak with an egg on top. My brother-in-law didn't like it. He was not happy because he wanted a steak. Well, all you get is this. So when you go to another country, you got to expect that people don't have what you're accustomed to it. So you got to adjust it. So this is one way. My kids, we used to make this and fried eggs and French fries. Us kids too. When we were growing up, it was one little piece of meat, one egg, and plenty of French fries. Because my dad grew potatoes, so we had plenty of potatoes. So, and that was a perfect meal. So now we'll have this for dinner, and then whatever is left over, I'll make a sandwich tomorrow. And it is delicious. You can make a sandwich, even put an egg. Bifana, put it in a popsicle, fry an egg, put it in. Oh my gosh. Let's see, we were brought up, we were accustomed with that. We like that stuff. So you just bring that to a simmer, and you're gonna see like little bits, like on top. Don't be alarmed. That's part of the sauce. And it's part of that stuff that is killing all that bacteria. So it's safe. I mean, it's safe to eat. And that's how we always did. And so my mom would do this when we killed the pig. I think that was my favorite day. It was my favorite day. It was the second day because we would have this. We would start doing the chorizo. And you would put the chorizo, the meat, in a stick and cook it. So, anyway, so this is how I make my bifanas. And like I said, everybody does it different. But this is how my mom did it, and this is how my sisters, I can do it because this is the only way I knew how to do it. And it gets, when you let that meat cook, it turns into this brown, kind of a darker. I wish you could smell. It smells so good. I feel like I want to dive in right now. So, and I'm cooking some rice in my rice cooker, and we're gonna have this with rice and green salad and popsicles. And here we have a nice, delicious meal. And this can feed, pork loin, they're very reasonable. It can feed a crowd. I did these for Christmas at my in-laws because everybody was there, and it went. It was 2 pork loins, it went. And we were 26 people, so. Anyway, so get cooking and do something different and something easy and delicious. So I'd ask you, if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube, please do. I do appreciate all the comments, all the subscriptions, and all the good input. I try to put a closed caption on my videos and translate it so people in Azores, Portugal, other languages can see. So I'm hoping that works. I'm hoping that, that is helping some of those that want to understand what I'm saying, want to know what I'm cooking, but can't understand the language. So anyway, have a good day. Have a good evening.